Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video, and the deadline has passed. So, we're going to go over the winners and the losers of the MLB trade deadline. It was a fun deadline, by far the best deadline. So, lots of moves got made, so good ones. Let's get into this. So, I have three categories. I have winners, losers, and the Met. You didn't really lose the deadline, but you didn't exactly do a lot to win the deadline. So you're kind of in the Met. Like, you made some good moves, but you definitely could have made a lot better of moves. So, yeah. The winners of the deadline, the by far, like, clear and favorite winners to me of the deadline are the Dodgers. They went in. They got Danny Duffy. They then went and got Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. And I don't think they gave up Keibert Ruiz. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't even been able to look at every trade. But they by far won the deadline. It's just insane. They got two pitchers, one of which is going to be a little bit delayed, but one of which can cover the one guy who's not on the team right now for personal reasons. So, yeah. Dodgers by far the clear and heavy winner of the deadline. Continuing on in the winners bracket, I have the Yankees. The Yankees got Gallo, didn't really give up a whole lot for their prospects. They gave up depth, but they didn't give up high-end talent, so that's pretty good. They then went and shocked everyone, and they got Anthony Rizzo. And that move by far shocked me. They got another lefty bat in there. They kept Luke Voit, which was a little weird. I thought they would have definitely moved him, especially maybe a Brios package or a Scherzer package, but they didn't, so they still have Luke Voit. And then they went and got Andrew Heaney about an hour before the deadline. Good lefty arm to add in that rotation, solidify stuff, especially if you're uncertain about Kluber returning, when Luis Severino comes back. Definitely a good move to kind of solidify that rotation. Next up, I have the Blue Jays. Come at me, let's hear it. They won the deadline. They were a part of the winning tier in the deadline. They got themselves Brad Hand to clear out the bullpen. So, there's a back-end guy. They then also got Joakim Soria for the back end of the bullpen, who brings a veteran presence. Kind of like what Jason Grilli did back in 2016. So, I like that move. And then Brad Hand, I kind of see they can go 8th or 9th inning. They don't really have a set closer role, so that's pretty awesome. And then they went out and they got Jose Barrios. Now, the return for Barrios was a lot. It was Martin and Wood Richardson. But in 2015, they went out and they got David Price, and they sent more to Detroit for David Price for half a season of David Price, and that was considered a win for a trade. They come out this year and they spend less than they did for Price, and they're getting Barrios for a year and a half, plus the option to extend him, and we're being told it's a loss of a trade. Prospects are just, they're just prospects at the end of the day. Woods Richardson could easily turn into an ace, but he can also flop. So, you don't know, when they sent Hoffman to Colorado for Tulowitzki, that was the worst trade ever, apparently. Where's, is Jeff Hoffman an ace now? The same could happen with Woods Richardson. He could fizzle out. Do I think he will? Probably not. Same with Austin Martin. I don't think he's going to be the big Whit Merrifield that everyone says he's going to be, but he could be an Adam Frazier. So, in the end, it's a deal that works for both sides. You didn't win the trade, you didn't lose the trade, but they won the deadline. They got better. So, there's that. Next up, I have the Rays. Now, the Rays, they didn't do, a whole lot, but they did smart moves. They did their Rays move. They got Nelson Cruz. Great pickup. That's a fantastic pickup. And then they traded away Diego Castillo to Seattle, and right now he's struggling in Seattle. So it's kind of smart. And they got two really good prospects back. That one guy's got a career average in the minors at 300. Insane return for him. So they don't make the splashy moves, they don't make the fancy moves, but they make the smart moves. For that, I have them the winners of the deadline as well. Next up, I got the White Sox. Oh my God. They were pretty good. They got Kimbrel as that big headline piece. Traded Madrigal, and I don't remember who else. And then they also got Ryan Tepera the day before. They now have two of the best closers in Hendricks and Kimbrel, and you can even add Garrett Crochet at the end of that bullpen. Their starters only got to go 6th. Then you got Crochet in the 7th, Kimbrel in the 8th, Hendricks in the 9th. Disgusting. Honestly, they might be my favorites now in the American League. I think they might be my favorites. Next up is the Astros. Anytime you steal a team that's competing against you and you go in and steal their closer and they're within the division as you win. You win the trade. Okay? They got Kendall Graveman for Abraham Toro and someone else. I don't really know who else. Great move. You went to Seattle, you went, hey, you're trying to compete with us, I want your closer. And they went, sure, take him. So, great move there. I would have expected a little bit more. They got Yimi Garcia as well from Miami. I would have thought they would have made a run at potentially another starter or made a bigger run at Ricard Rodriguez. In the end, they didn't. They settled what they got. And honestly, they got a good return. They're by far the favorites in the West. They'll probably win the West. And I could see the ALCS being the White Sox and the Astros, honestly, in my opinion. So, yeah. Next up, Giants. And honestly, San Francisco, you were in the losers category up until you got Chris Bryant, and you didn't trade away Joey Bart like you said you were going to. So that's good. And he's homered in his debut. You got to compete with the Dodgers and the Padres. You're not a better team than them on paper or even on the field, but you're playing better baseball than both of them, and adding Chris Bryant definitely helps that. So, good job. Keep it up. Next up, the Mets. I expected more, but what you did was good. You got Javi Baez to replace Lindor short while Lindor's hurt. And then Lindor, when he comes back, Baez will go to second. And you got the nastiest double play duo in the league, by far, not even close. And he said he wanted to be a Met. And you went and got him. You got Trevor Williams with it. Not a big deal. But you got rid of Pete Crow Armstrong. I know he's a big guy on there. But again, arm injury, I believe, right now, or shoulder injury. Prospects are just prospects. So, I'm all for that deal. Good job. I would have expected a little bit more in the bullpen. I definitely thought a bullpen piece was going to be going there. Like a big name. But in the end, you didn't. You still should win the division, so good job. Next up is Philadelphia. And you finally bought pitching. It's like a Christmas miracle. You bought pitching. You got Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, and someone else for Spencer Howard and a couple other guys. It's a great deal. Gibson absolutely shoved in his debut. Ian Kennedy's going to be locked down in that bullpen. You know what? If you go on a run, you could take pitching. That's your only hope at the playoffs. So, do what you need to do, but I do like the move. So, good job, Philly. Last up is Texas. Only reason I have Texas in here is because I honestly didn't think they were going to sell the pieces they should have, and they did. So for that, you're winners. You got some good prospects back. But, prospects are just prospects. But you did what you need to do, and for that, I mean, you're kind of a winner. You got decent prospects on the Yankees. You're in, that very, bottom of winners. You could easily go to the meh at the deadline. But I do like your moves that you made. We'll get to the meh of the deadline after. I want to go to the losers first. The main loser is Colorado. What were you doing? You had the greatest trade piece out of the whole deadline, and you sat on him to get a draft pick. What? My guy pulled himself out of the lineup because he was pissed off he didn't get traded. What are you doing? You paid St. Louis to take Nolan Arenado, who, by the way, had a great had a contract still up, but you're not getting anyone to take away your free agent that's leaving you in 2 months. What? Whatever. You had pitching you could have traded away. I expected better out of Colorado. So. Next up, I have the Cubs, and it's because I don't like the returns they got. They're taking a huge risk on Pete Crow. He's hurt. New York, they got actually a decent return for Rizzo, and I expected a little bit more from Bryant. But I also expected more moves. I expected maybe a Contreras to go, a Zach Davies to go. Fully see through here. I expected a huge blow up. You blew it up still. But I expected more. So, yeah. Also, Cubs fans, I'm so sorry. It sucks. You guys will be good again. So, go through your rough time, and then you'll come back on top in less than 100 years. Next up, I got the Padres. Yeah. Struck out on the two big guys they were in with. They had Scherzer and then didn't. And then they wanted Barrios and didn't. I get the Barrios price tag was huge, but I did expect them to land one of the two big arms, and they struck out on both. So, for that, I'm going to have to put you in the losers category. You made some good moves. You got Daniel Hudson in your bullpen and Jake Marisnick. I don't know what he's going to do. You also got Adam Frazier. That's a good move, but you struck out on the big guys that you were going after. And that doesn't look that great. So, sorry. Next up, Nationals. Yeah. You could have got, I think, a better return for Scherzer and Turner. But you did what you needed to do. You blew it up. You got rid of Scherzer. You got rid of Brad Hand, Yan Gomes. I don't really get why you don't like Brad Hand. He's brilliant in his debut with the Jays, but I guess some people don't like him there. Got rid of Gomes, Harrison. Didn't expect you to trade Turner, so that's another reason why you're in a bit of a losers category. I'm going to hit you with a harsh reality. Soto's going to leave if you don't put a team around him. So hurry up, because he'll leave, and he will go far. Or he'll stay in your division and absolutely hurt you. So yeah, you got about 3 years to build a team around him, so hurry up, because he will leave. Next up, I have the Indians/Guardians. I didn't really know what you were going to do at the deadline, and you didn't either, obviously, because you kind of just stood there. I don't know. Did Cleveland even make a trade? I'm trying to think. They got, Rosario for Sandoval, and then they got, his face. Miles Straw from, Houston. Sure. Probably could have sold one of your pitchers like Zach Plesac for some good prospects, but instead you waited. I don't really know what you guys are doing. Are you rebuilding? Are you trying to compete? Are you trying to be mediocre? What's going on here? I kind of want a clear message here. What are you guys doing? So, yeah. Next up, Angels. Also, what are you doing? You need pitching. Obviously, you're not going to compete this year. But you go and trade pitching? What? That doesn't make sense. You need it, but you're giving it away. So, that doesn't really make sense. I think that was their only move they made. They called up Reed Detmers. Great. Maybe a little early. But good. But he's only pitching. You got Shohei Ohtani having an MVP level season. Trout's got to come back sometime. Like, you got the best bats in the league, and you're trading away your pitching, which is what you need to compete. So, I don't really know what you're doing. I don't even know what the return is. I didn't bother to check, but couldn't have got that good of a return for Andrew Heaney. Like, why? I don't know. I don't get it why you traded him, but whatever. Next up, Cardinals. You got Lester, but you're like, why? I don't get why you bought. You're nowhere near a playoff spot. Milwaukee's going to win the division, but yet you went out and you bought. You could have sold some pieces, built up a little bit, get some younger guys in there that are like at that AAA level that are right about to contribute at the major league level, but you bought, and you bought old. You bought Lester, who's like a fossil. I didn't even know how you traded John Gant for fucking J.A. Happ. You guys went out and went, my issue is I don't have J.A. Happ. And that's what you did. You went out and you bought their fucking retirement home. Why? What are you doing? I don't get it. So, sorry, loser. Pirates, you panic sold Ricardo Rodriguez. That's your only issue. Other than that, good job. I don't like you panic selling though. Stop that. Next up are the Tigers. You could have sold. Yeah. Jonathan Scope. You had some other guys, but you chose to do nothing. And I don't get that. But try and do better. Sure. Royals. You sold Danny Duffy when he was hurt for players to be named later, who, if he doesn't play, gonna be fucking no ones. Like what? I don't get that trade either. I would have just kept him, let him rot in like your healthcare system area. But you sent him away for literally nothing. You're going to get nothing, but you could have re-signed him and traded him for a higher value if he stayed healthy next year. And you didn't trade Whit Merrifield. Like, come on. You got to trade him because he's going to leave. So, yeah. There's that. And now my meh at the deadline. Orioles. You didn't really buy. You didn't really sell. You didn't get worse, but you didn't get better. Not a lot that you could have sold. You traded Galvis. At least you made a move. I wouldn't have traded Trey Mancini personally, so I'm glad that you kept him. John Means, I get he's hurt, so there. There's definitely some other pieces you probably could have shipped away for some prospects, but you didn't. You didn't do You just went, meh, sure. Next up, Marlins. You would have been winners if you replaced Marte, because you got a fantastic. You got Jesus Luzardo for Starling Marte, and I have full belief that Miami will turn Luzardo into an ace. So, Oakland, that is. I'm sorry. But, you didn't replace Starling Marte. Who's your center fielder? Like, you were so confident when you traded Marte that you were going to get a center fielder. You were so confident that's what the reports were. And you didn't. You just didn't. You went, no, we're good. Should have got a center fielder. So, yeah. Mariners. The only reason you're in the meh is because you got your third baseman of the future when Seager leaves. But why are you trading your closer to the Astros when you're trying to compete with the Astros and then go and buy a reliever who is worse than the closer you just sold? It doesn't make sense. He blew his first game with you. Honestly, the Mariners, I want to put them into the losers, but they got Abraham Toro, who's going to be huge for them in the future. Like, Seattle, I want you to do good. But what the fuck are you doing? This is a chance that you had to legitimately break your 20-year postseason drought, and you go and sell your closer when you're a game and a half out of the wild card. Now you're 3.5, and you're going to start falling. You lost back-to-back games to the Rangers on walk-offs to Jonathan Heim. I'm sorry, you're done. Red Sox. You got Schwarber. Decent. When's he going to play? Like, you got him for a month. I don't understand the whole hype around it. He's going to be huge when he comes back. If he comes back this year. You're getting Chris Sale back. That's huge. Could have got another starter. Definitely should have got another starter. Probably would have got another person in the bullpen. You just didn't. You didn't do enough. And I think you're going to lose the division because of it. So, yeah. Twins. Now, I would put you in the winners. And you probably are winners at the deadline because of the package you got back. But you could have sold more. You had Buxton you could have sold. Now, I get he's injured. You don't want to sell him at a low price, so I understand that. You had Maeda, you could have sold. Pineda, who you could have sold. Donaldson, who you could have sold. Now, I get there's a bit of baggage going with Donaldson, but, you could have done something. Andrelton Simmons, you potentially could have sold. So, while you got a great return for Brios, and you got a pretty good return for Happ, you could have done more. So, that's why you're in the meh. Cincinnati. I like getting Luis Cisa, or Cesa. I don't know how you say his name. Definitely need a starter, though, and a proper shortstop. So I would have loved to see you done that. You don't have a legitimate shot at going for the division, but you definitely could have got guys to help build you for next year. You didn't. But I hope you go on a run. I don't know what we're doing here, Cincinnati. Are you trying to compete or nah? Brewers. You're in the meh. You got Eduardo Rodriguez, which is a great, Eduardo Escobar, which is a great move. I thought you would have added something more significant back. Maybe another pitcher to round out the rotation. But you didn't. You're still going to win the division. But you could have done more. So, yeah. The A's. Have you met? But I think you're on that very tip of the meh. You flip flop with the Rangers. Depends on Yan Gomes and Josh Harrison. Starling Marte is a solidified stud. He's going to be great for you. Gomes is going to be great behind the plate, but you kind of got a good catcher already. Josh Harrison's the only one. Is he going to... Does he take shortstop from Andrews, or does Tony Kemp go there? I don't really get that one. Other than that, okay. I would have liked to seen another starter go your way, or a reliever. But you had a good deadline. You didn't lose, but you didn't win. Braves. You got Jock Peterson. Great move. You got Ricardo Rodriguez, and you got Jorge Soler. It's a wide open National League East, but I wouldn't go for it if I were you guys. This year, you could have definitely stocked up to be a better team next year when Acuna comes back. I don't really know what you're doing. You haven't been above 500 once this year. Since July 16, you go win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. You don't win 2 games in a row, but you don't lose 2 games in a row. You go 1-1. But you're under 500. You need that run. And I don't think the guys you got back is going to help you go on a run. So, sorry. And next up is Diamondbacks. You traded Eduardo Escobar and Joakim Soria. Pretty good. But you had more. You definitely could have sold more. You're going to be a horrible team this year. You're going to be a horrible team next year. I definitely am expecting a Nick Ahmed trade in the offseason. Maybe a Ketel Marte trade. Definitely got to be traded in the offseason. But you had an alright deadline. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. What do you think about the deadline moves? Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me how right I am. So yeah. And we'll catch you all in the next video. Share this with friends. They like baseball. It's the place to be. And yeah, subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel. Peace out. Goodbye. Stop recording.